Next, when you are asked to draw the excretory system, you are required to draw both the kidney and the blood vessels that are supplying blood to the kidney, as well as the ureter, which is leading away from the kidney all the way to the bladder where the urine is stored before it is being excreted. So a proper diagram of the excretory system will look like this. Now this is one of the blood vessels leading into the kidney. This is the second one. These blood vessels lead to both sides of the kidney. So these, the renal artery, of course, and the renal vein, both leading into the kidney. Located on the kidney is the adrenal gland, which we've talked about. If you like, you may also show the 3 different layers of the kidney, but I don't think it's very much important when you're drawing the complete structure of the excretory system. Next comes is the ureter itself. The ureter leads to the bladder, which is where there is temporary storage of urine before it is later taken away from the body. And then the 2 blood vessels continue like this. Good. So now this is the structure of the excretory system. You can put the layers if it doesn't hurt to do that. By labels, this is the adrenal gland. This right here is your left kidney. It looks on my right, but it's actually the left, because if I'm standing like this, that's my left kidney. So this is the left kidney. This is the renal vein. That's first one. Renal artery. This, the ureter. After the bladder comes this exit point, which is the urethra. If what you're doing is biology practical, it is kind of important that you align your labels in a linear format and on a straight line like I did. Alright, so excretion is the removal of metabolic waste from the body of a living organism. And the major excretory organs in man are the kidney and the skin. And these 2 will be treated separately so we can understand them perfectly. Let's start by discussing the kidney. Of course, we already know the kidney. If we are to draw the structure of the kidney, it looks like this. It has about 3 different vessels that lead in and out of the kidney. The first one is the renal artery. As the name suggests, renal artery is the vessel which brings in oxygenated blood into the kidney. Not just oxygenated blood and blood containing other food materials and every other thing. After the renal artery comes the renal vein. So the renal vein is going to take out deoxygenated blood from the kidney. Blood returns back to the heart for pumping, but without oxygen. And last but not the least, the function of the kidney is to reabsorb some nutrients and any other thing necessary for the body and excrete the leftovers. And so there has to be a vessel that takes it out, and that is the ureter, which goes downwards, okay, to our bowels, to our bladder. So if you study the kidney has 3 major segments. All right, the outermost part of the kidney is given the name renal cortex. The word renal is sort of attached to any structure associated with the kidney, so get used to the name renal cortex. This was also called the renal artery. This was the renal vein, and this vessel that takes it out, takes the waste to the bladder, is called the ureter. In this in the kidney, we've mentioned the renal cortex. At the middle region, we have the renal medulla. Also, medulla sort of meaning center region, middle region. And last but not the least, we have this innermost part here, which is called the pelvis. Some would call it the renal pelvis. So, what is in this kidney, by the way? The kidney has tiny structures that are performing different functions to give you what you see in the final product here. What do I mean? There are smaller units of excretory system. You can take it like an ant hill, where you have different ants bringing different, performing different tasks and returning everything to the queen and all that. So the simplest unit of the excretory system is located inside the kidney, and it is so small that there are millions of it in a kidney. So urine formation is not done by one person or one structure, but by millions of these units I'm talking about. So what is the unit called? It is called the nephron. I'm going to erase the diagram of the kidney and draw what a typical nephron is. But what you should know is that the nephron has its mouth outside of it at the cortex region, and the body of the of the nephron moves deep into the medulla, and then the waste is also returned back out to the cortex region. So let's draw what this nephron mean or is. This is the structure of the kidney. So let's move on to draw the simplest unit of excretory system, which is the nephron. Alright, so the nephron looks like this. First, there is a cup-like mouth, which is called the Bowman's capsule. And in this Bowman's capsule, we have tiny blood vessels, capillaries coming in here. The one bringing in the blood with the food material is called the afferent vessel, and in here it is convoluted a lot, and at the end of everything there is another vessel that is going to take the unfiltered materials out from the Bowman's capsule. Those ones are called the efferent vessels. So we have the afferent and the efferent, but the whole twisted capillaries here, making it difficult for you to differentiate between the afferent and efferent. Right here where the convolution takes place, this is called the glomerulus. This is called the glomerulus. Sorry, I don't have space, but let me put it here. Glomerulus. This conjoined mixtures here. So at the Bowman's capsule, it sort of looks like a filter for the blood and the materials coming in. So not everything that gets in here will be filtered through. So what happens at the Bowman's capsule is ultrafiltration. Take note. And after that, whatever gets sieved through is called glomerular filtrate. So whatever makes it is called glomerular filtrate. And by the time it goes in here, there's a little convolution which is called the proximal convoluted tubule. The proximal convoluted tubule. And after the proximal convoluted tubule, we now have the loop. This is called the loop of Henle. Some call it the Henle's loop. And at the exit here, it still has what looks once more like another convolution again, and this one is nicknamed the distal convoluted tubule. And whatever makes it out of here is now excreted to the ureter. This is the ureter. So, we can put the label anywhere next. Okay, so now this is the ureter, and there's no space. So that right here is the structure of the nephron. And who is the nephron? The simplest unit of the excretory system. And just like I mentioned, the Bowman's capsule is located at the cortex, and this loop here dips down into the medulla of the kidney. And so The next, you're going to be asked to discuss the process of urine formation. When they ask you to discuss the process of urine formation, they are simply asking for the function of the nephron and how it works. So all you have to say is that afferent vessel brings in blood into blood and other materials, blood containing dissolved minerals into the Bowman's capsule. These materials then get filtered through ultrafiltration. The glomerular filtrate makes its way through the proximal convoluted tubule, where some ions are reabsorbed into the body cells, after which it gets to the loop of Henle. Now, one assignment I give to you, find out the components that are normally reabsorbed at the descending loop. This area is called the descending loop of Henle, and this other region is called the ascending loop. Oftentimes, we'll be asked, where is calcium or magnesium reabsorbed? Is it at the descending loop or at the ascending loop? But either ways, whatever does not get reabsorbed upon getting to the distal convoluted tubule is therefore transferred to the ureter, and this ureter leads out of the kidney into the bladder, and that is it for the kidney.